Thank you. Yes, it's 7 degrees outside. It's probably 8 degrees now. Um, but we are here. Okay, yes, we're here. Not a very exciting background. I'm sorry, I'm not a tech whiz. Let's see if I can get something back here. Oh, my boards will be removed. Okay, no background. Okay. All right. Well, we'll just leave it like that for now. Thank you so much. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Tuesday, TameriKan Tuesday. Oh, let me switch this around. The day after they got a new businessman running the country, which is really a corporation. Everybody's all excited. To me, it's like a football game. I don't really get into all that. And I'm really grateful that more people, are interested in the topic of Tamerica. I don't know how to raise this up. Hold on a second. Maybe. No, it's not. My high-tech studio equipment. Let's see if this is a little better. I don't know. I guess it's a little better. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. So, did anyone get to watch that special Ancient Apocalypse Americas? Yes, please remember to share the live, and thank you for tapping the screen. Did any of you get to see the special on Netflix, Ancient Apocalypse Americas? I watched the ones about North America. I didn't watch the ones about Greece and Turkey and all the other sites. I may watch those another time, but I'm really interested in the TameriKan Mounds. So if you haven't seen it yet, check it out. It's really good. Graham Hancock is one of my favorite, explorers, or I don't know what his title is. He's the one that took the, this was like 20 years ago. He had permission to open up the shaft of the Pyramid of Giza, and he took a robotic camera there. And when they opened it, they didn't find anything, but it was probably, they already took it. Whatever they found, they already took it. But I'm someone, let's see, who am I? I'm Tachia. I've been a reggae artist for almost 40 years now. A lot of you don't know that. This was before we had internet and social media. I was out there on the Bob Marley Festival tour, Reggae on the River, lots of big festivals. And I wasn't able to play the game. I didn't see why I should sing reggae songs that could lead to, Black liberation or Black liberation to a bunch of Trustafarians that only came to celebrate consciousness on the weekends and then went back to their 9-to-5 jobs. So I wasn't really into that. So that's what happened to my reggae career. I still have a lot of really good music out on the music platforms. If you're interested in Tamerica, you might like you like all of them. Rise Again Truth. I have songs, Cherokee and Lakota songs put to reggae. Black Turtle Island, I have a poem by Marcus Garvey put to reggae. Fountain of Love, and that World Peace, which has some teachings by Malcolm X put to reggae. They're really good music. I don't know the right audience for them. And then I started studying other paths of spirituality and healing. I started focusing on my own healing. But my main interest has always been what is now called Tamerica, the cosmology, the pyramids, the sacred sites. I've been to quite a few, actually. Oh, thank you for following me. I've been to quite a few. I've been to Teotihuacan. I've been to Machu Picchu. I've been to the Olmecas and Veracruz and San Andreas, Catemaco, things like that. I love it. And then I spent a lot of years studying Kemetic spirituality. I've been to Kemet 4 times. And the last time I was there, my spirit guide said, now it's time to get back to your original project and point out the connections and correspondences between what's called Kemetic spirituality and North Central South America, which we're now calling TameriKan. I don't like using the term Kemetic anymore because when you say Kemet, you right away are thinking of the community in ancient Africa and Egypt. And Natarian traditions are not limited to any particular time or place. Thank you so much for tuning in. I see you're just dropping by, but that's okay. Thank you for liking the live. So that's what TameriKan Tuesdays is about. I'm just doing my research, basically, with you all. I have my whole list of stack of books here, and I just read through them. So we're going to do that. And also, if anyone is interested in joining me on February 1st, I'm going to be at the Cahokia Mound. Why February 1st? Well, let's see. February 1st. February 1st is officially the middle of winter. And I didn't get this hung up. Middle of winter on a spiral dance medicine wheel. Which points out the natural holy days. So I'm sure you know about the equinoxes and the solstices, but there's also the mid-seasons here. And so the middle of winter is one of those days, February 1st. And the European tradition is called Candlemas, which means more light because the days are getting longer. The Chinese tradition has their Chinese New Year at the New Year at middle of winter. Here we just do things on those particular days. So I usually do a spiral dance medicine wheel, which is a ceremony to I'm putting my mittens. A ceremony to honor the indigenous people of the 4 directions by having music or chanting or sound healing offerings. And the idea is to in alignment with the Hopi prophecy that in these days and times, the indigenous people of the 4 directions would wake up and come together, not to be, losing your traditions or culture or identity, but to come together. And when we put all the pieces together, then we'll have the truth. So in my mind, I interpret that to mean when we're able to come together with the 4 directions, we'll have the power needed to defeat Western imperialism. This tradition is not dependent on race per se or skin color, which is something that I'm moving away from. Good rising, great awakenings. Aho. I'm no longer identifying myself as Black or African American. I no longer refer to people as white. Those were constructs of Western imperialism. So we're just dealing with the 4 directions. So according to the Hopi, we have people of the north, people of the south, people of the east, people of the west. Other medicine wheels, the medicine wheel itself is a Lakota tradition. Other medicine wheels have their colors in different orders. This is the one I made because this is basically how the world does look today. We have Europeans to the north, basically, Asians to the east. What are we? Aboriginal Americans to the west, and Aboriginal Black people, African people to the south. But it's not meant to be a racist chart. It's just a chart to help separate the continents and where the people come from. But it also lines up to the seasons, the directions, and the 4 aspects of being. It's a wonderful chart. So anyway, on February 1st, I'm planning to go to visit Cahokia Mounds. I've never been. I've been to pyramids and different sacred sites around the world. So this year I'm planning to visit the mounds, and I'm going to start with the one closest to me. So if anyone's interested in joining me, reach out. I don't have the exact timing. I just know that I'm planning to be there on February 1st to do the spiral dance medicine wheel and other ceremonies that I learn about between now and then. And I saw this amazing video on YouTube. Let's see if I can call it up. I wanted to have it in the background, but I couldn't figure that out. So let's see if I can just share it with you right here. Oh, count. You might know the guy on here on TikTok. We Know the Truth Now. And he's the one that posted this. Where did it go? Oh, it's called The Real Mound Builders. I don't know if you can hear this.
Here is found in the thousands of mounds located in this region. My name is Cahokia Mound, duly elected chief of 139-member Erie Indian Mound Builders Tribal Nation. This land is a part of us, and we are a part of this land. We love, honor, respect, and are grateful for this great land, as many of you are. The state of Ohio contains the highest and largest concentration of mounds than any other region in the United States.
Yeah. Okay, so I just saw that today. I'm really inspired. I went to college in Ohio, so I'm planning to go to Ohio next. I went to Oberlin College. So what's the deal about these mounds? Like, people are like, what's the big deal? It's just a big pile of dirt. Well, first of all, think about how much time and how much dirt it took to build these mounds. Like he says, some of them are 12,000 years old. Some are older than 12,000 years old. How do we know that? How do we know these mounds are 12,000 years old? Well, the Serpent Mound is the first one that comes to my mind. And if you watch that special, Ancient Apocalypse, the Americas, that's why this is where I've read this information before, but it didn't sit with me until he pointed it out. So how do we know that Serpent Mound is 12,000 years old? And the Serpent Mound, oh gosh, I don't have my notes with me. Let me see. I think I can find it on this phone. The Serpent Mound is that in Ohio? Yeah, the Serpent Mound is in Ohio. Okay. So we know the Serpent Mound is 12,000 years old or older because of its alignment to the summer solstice. The Serpent Mound is aligned to, I believe it's the sunset. Yeah, the sunset at Serpent Mound. And I don't know if I have a picture of it. The jaws of the snake are swallowing something, and it's swallowing the sun. But the way they have it laid out, it looks like it's swallowing a seed or a sun, but it's lined up. But today, if you go at the summer solstice at sunset, it's not perfect, spot on. And they wouldn't have done that. They wouldn't have intentionally made a mistake. However, the last time the sunset lined up exactly with the summer solstice was 12,000 years ago. So that's how we know it's 12,000 years old. Okay, so even though they were quote unquote just using dirt, they had very precise measurements. They were able to make very precise calculations in order to do that. The same way people built the pyramids and the temples, the one in Kemet, Temple for Amun, where the sun, and I've been there. I've been at the one in October and the one in February. It's interesting because when I was at Machu Picchu, I'm all over the place. The guy told me that their fall equinox marker is set for October, not September. And so the one in Kemet is also set up for October, not September. And I believe that's due to the precession of the equinox. I love to visit the Serpent Mound here in Ohio. Okay, well, when I come, we're going to have to connect because I'm planning to go there for when? For the summer solstice. Because I want to see this. I want to see this. I definitely want to see it for myself. Yeah. So I lost my train of thought. But anyway, oh, the equinoxes. Okay. The one at Temple of Amun at Simba. I don't remember the exact name, but it's in Aswan or near Aswan. So when the sun rises, the sun comes through the door and illuminates 3 of 4 statues. Not all 4, only 3. Amun Ra Ptah. There's a statue of Amun Ra Ptah, and then the 4th statue is of the king or the pharaoh that built the temple, but he had it so that he is not illuminated because he is not one of the divinities. So how did they make those calculations? And then, of course, the government moved the temple when they set up the dam and it flooded out all the quote unquote black community, the Nubians. But we're not going to go there. Right now, we're just focusing on the cosmology. So that's why this diagram is so important, is because this is what our ancestors were paying attention to, the solstices and the equinoxes and the mid-seasons. When I come through the door, it illuminates every. Yes, Nitra, that is so true. That is definitely true. When Nitra comes to the door, she illuminates everything. So anyway, that is why my plan is to visit these sacred sites at these times of years, just to witness their phenomenal artistry and technology. And also, I believe that if we start visiting these sites, we can reactivate them. Some say they're just mounds, they're just the platforms where temples used to be, where the pyramids used to be. I saw in this movie, series Ancient Apocalypse Americas, some of them you can go in and there's a whole lot of stuff going on inside the mound and down below. So it's just, it's just something that it's been important to me for a really long time, like 40 years. Activate them and teleport. Not so much to teleport. My theory or my feeling, my intention is that our people, I'm talking to North America or Aboriginal Americans in the North, or what we know as Turtle Island. Now, I'm not talking about Mexico and South America because they've still got it going on there somehow. But up here, a lot of us are still asleep. We're still under the impact of colonialism and Western imperialism and caucasity. And I know that when I started to study these sites just by books before, and then actually going to visit them, like in Mexico, I went to Palenque, the Temple of the Jaguar, Teotihuacan. Like, I've been to a lot of places, and it activated something in me. I know that. What does waking up look like? I'm just curious. Oh, okay. Waking up. To me, waking up was when I was able to move beyond Western imperialism, caucasity, and the Western construct, knowing that I have a power within me that's greater than what they are telling us. It's more to life than going to church on Sundays and having turkey on Thanksgiving and celebrating Christmas by buying tons of gifts from people made in China, or on 4th of July, flying a flag that's made in China. It's like the world is so much more than what they show you. Yeah, so it's just waking up to the illusion. Like in Kemet, well, let me say in the Terran spirituality, they talk about the veil. It's the veil of the illusion. And the majority of human beings are still living behind the veil. Thinking that when your body dies, that your life ends. I need my glasses on. There's a lot going on over here. Right, there we go. Waking up and was no longer wanting European iconography, loving myself and my culture. That's perfect. Yeah. For me, it's even like I don't talk about this much, and I'm not going to say a lot, but it means not participating in their government, not participating in their elections, not participating in their illegal taxation, not participating in their deadly medicine, not participating in their quote unquote American diet, like everything that's American, basically, and going to Tamerica, which Tameri means beloved land. It's a Natarian word. It's not Kemetic. Participation is like being harvested. Yes. Yes, exactly. I don't go to the medical institution for anything. I go to the farmer's market for my food. I try to cook as much as I can myself. You know, I do step out to Pepe's every now and then or go out to dinner, but I try really hard to just prepare my own food. I use herbs for healing. I don't participate in their medical industry. I just don't participate. We have our own culture. We have our own ways of living, and it's been lost to us. It's more than just it's more than like just being human. It's knowing that you're divine, knowing that you have celestial ancestors, that you have celestial origin, and being in tune with the stars and the planets and the galaxy instead of the 9 to 5 traditional life that they have, they're forced on us. Even time, even the way we keep track of time. I've talked about this a lot. There's 13 constellations along the ecliptic, not 12. There's 13 months in the year. The indigenous calendars all have 13 months, and the real ones have 12 months, and then 1 month is only 5 to 7 days long. It's a week long. The Mayan, the Olmec calendar is that way. The Sirius calendar from the Dogon is that way. The 13-month sidereal astrology system is that way. The Natarian calendar is that way. That is one way of breaking free of the Western construct. It's just how you live your life. Another thing they do, I learned this from Master Naba from Mali, the Dogon tradition, which, by the way, is very connected to America, because they used to fit together, but there's a current that will whisk your boat, your ship, from Mali to the Yucatan. And there's no idea how many times that journey was made, but we know it's been made. And so he says that they steal 6 hours from you every day because, there's a lot of discussion going on down here. I'm missing it. Maybe you all want to get in on this. Especially winter and having to leave your family to go work, very ghetto, 0 stars. I would never. Okay. Reject. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, he says that, the new day starts at sunrise. That's when the day begins. But in Western construct, the new day begins 1 minute after midnight. And midnight is supposed to be the middle of the night. How can the new day begin at the middle of the night? Same with the new year. How can the new year begin in the wintertime? I know in South America, it's the summertime, but life doesn't begin in the summer either. Life begins in the spring. The new life begins in the spring. And I know it's complicated because in the southern equator, it's the fall. And we shouldn't even call it New Year. There's so many points throughout the year. It's just a reset. It's just a starting over. Like some people celebrate their new year in the spring, some celebrate it in the summer, some celebrate in the fall, but nobody would start the new year in wintertime. That's just the opposite of nature. I guess what I'm saying is staying close to nature is what I'm talking about when I say waking up. Nature and your spirituality, not religion, because religion really just means to repeat over and over and over again. That's what religion is. And we've talked about the difference between Western religions, indigenous religions, and Natarian spirituality. The difference is in Natarian spirituality, you are becoming a god or goddess, and you are manifesting your reality in alignment with Ma'at. In other traditions, you're either asking the gods and goddesses for blessings or boons, and they bless you. but you're not taught how to bless yourself, basically. So anyway, so that's me rambling. I hope that means 13 means Christ in some groups. Well, not in this group, unless you're talking about Christ consciousness. There's no, that's the other thing about this community or way of life, is there's nothing of value to us brought forth from Western imperialism, as in the three major tools or agents of Western imperialism. They're not welcome here in this medicine wheel space. There's nothing of value from them because they were all stolen from us and then used and weaponized against us. So we don't really, the only time that I make references to those is when I am discussing one of my books that shows where the Western imperialist religions originated from Natarian spirituality. But I appreciate you bringing that to our attention. I thought that in the West, 13 was considered an unlucky number. I've never heard of anyone refer it to consciousness in those religions. So thank you for bringing that to my attention. So, so summer solstice. So the next one will be, I'm planning to do the Serpent Mound of the summer solstice. So for the spring equinox, I'm going to go back to California to visit my family out there. And then the middle of spring, I don't know where I'll be, but summer solstice, I'll definitely be heading to the Serpent Mound. Thank you for liking the live. Does anyone want to come in and conversate? Conversate, is that an expression? It is now, conversate. If anybody wants to get in, just let me know. I'm, I guess Nitra is always ready to join. I don't know, converse. I don't know how to, let's see. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of people that are guests. Okay, let's see, does that work? Okay, I think I sent you an invitation, Nitra. Okay, so now let's jump into one of these great books. Most of these books are about the Maya cosmos. That's one of my passions, is to find the correspondences between Kemetic culture and like the Olmec Mayan culture. And so we also have some books on the Cherokee and the Lakota, but those are mostly on culture. I'm really fascinated by the cosmology. Oh, one more thing I wanted to say before I get into this. It's a beautiful artwork. I was scrolling today on TikTok, which is no longer banned, and someone was talking about Web3. I know that's not like a spiritual or cultural thing, but anything that takes us out of this construct, I'm all for it. I'm all for learning about it. So does anyone on here know about Web3? They were saying that Web 1 was like back in the day when, when internet first showed up. I was alive when there was no internet, okay? And that was when you could just watch people's videos or websites and then email. And then Web 2 started, I think this at 2003, where you could buy things online and social media. And now there's Web 3. Oh, and Web 2, like anytime you post, you don't own your content. But if you post on Web 3, you own your content. And I never got into cryptocurrency, but they say that cryptocurrency is a big part of the Web 3 platform. So I'm looking for anything that that can get us out of this construct. So if anyone knows about Web3, let me know, because that's one thing I'm going to be studying. And then also 508, if anyone's interested in learning more about the 508c1a, that's where Cosmology Temple is set up as a 508. When it's a 508, it's a spiritual organization, and the government doesn't have any say over what you say or do in your mission. Yes, 508c1. So anyone wants to talk about that, or DM me, let's talk about it. Our Cosmology Temple is a 508c1a. I'm working on sales tax exemption and property tax exemption right now, and yoga classes. So okay, so Nitra's on there. All right, so let's jump into the Maya Cosmos. It's one of my favorite books for this information. I've told you before. That I gotta stop saying I studied with Linda Sheely, one of the authors of this book, and I withdrew from the program because I knew she was just gonna write a book on our research, and I just started doing my own research, and I stopped for a while. I'm just getting back into it. So let's see what they have for us today. I just randomly select a page like a tarot card deck and see where it takes us. Oh, fun. Okay, this is fun. This is about the ball game, the ball courts. I don't know if you know that the term Olmec translates to the rubber people. The rubber people and the balls they used in the ball court games, of course, were made of rubber. And if you look at basketball today, they don't really tell you that it originated with the Olmec, and that's why our people dominate that sport. I won't say the industry, but we dominate the sport. And it's because it's in our DNA. It's part of who we are as the Aboriginal Americans. And the thing about the Olmec, I don't know about the Olmec games. We mostly know about the Mayan games. The Mayans came later. They came to the area and found everything that had been set up by the Olmec, and then they get credited with it. And then the Aztec came later. And I'm not really positive on when all the sacrifices and the bloodshed began. I don't really have information on that, but I would like to know more. I personally don't believe that we were involved in blood sacrifice at the beginning. I know that it's much practiced with Yoruba traditions. I learned that at Cahokia Mound, mound number 72, they found bodies of young women that had been sacrificed, and that's the only place in North America that has evidence that there was sacrifice. So I'm not really sure about that, but that's why I'm researching. But let's see what they say about the ball courts. The first page I opened up to was the illustrations of the ball courts. The ball courts are fascinating to me because the constellation of Gemini is known as the ball courts in the Olmec Mayan tradition. I think you might remember I've talked about the sacred hoop from the Lakota, which has Gemini, the great dog Sirius, Orion, and the Pleiades. It's a hoop, a circle or oval shape. And so it's very important to Indigenous and Aboriginal communities. So let's read what they have about the game. Because in the Mayan ball court, the team that lost, they were sacrificed. So it's not like that today anymore, thankfully. Okay, this is page 340. The rules. The game called Pits that TameriKan described is a survivor of a gaming tradition already ancient when his Maya ancestors were establishing their civilization 2,100 years earlier. The Olmec, precursors of the Maya and creators of the template of Mesoamerican civilization, also left records of ball players. One of these, a portrait of a ball player carved around 900 BC, was found at the ceremonial center of San Lorenzo. This life-size stone figure kneels in the posture of a player receiving the ball. The ball game also flourished elsewhere in pre-classic Mesoamerica. At Dainzu, a small center in the highland valley of Oaxaca, devotees of the game carved strange helmeted ball players, like the Olmec heads. their limbs askew on stone slabs set into the side of a temple platform. These figures date from hundreds of years before the first Maya ball courts were built far to the east in the lowland jungles. I've been to the one at Palenque. Closer to home, portable ball court markers and open ball courts were set up at the major Maya pre-classic city of Izapa, located in a low pass of the Chiapas Mountains between the modern states of Guatemala and Mexico. I've been to Chiapas. And in the valley of Guatemala at Caminal Juyu, thick belted ball players wearing animal headdresses played the Southern Highlands version of the game at the same time that towns and cities were emerging in the broad lowlands to the north. While working at Cerros in the Maya lowlands, Dave Friedel and his colleagues Vernon Scarborough, Beverly Mitchum, and Soraya Carr happened upon two of the earliest known formal ball courts in the region. Initially, they thought they were excavating household mounds in the community surrounding that pre-classic royal capital, but they found ball courts instead. One of the ball courts had sloping playing surfaces that flanked a sunken playing field, and both had neat round holes lying in the centers of the well-preserved playing surfaces where the Maya had torn out the central markers. The masons of this small kingdom constructed these two playing fields right in the midst of the homes of the lords and laborers. Both ball courts were oriented on the north-south axis that defined the center line of the community. One was placed at the southern end of this north-south axis, and the other was near its center. Here, as at many other capitals, the Maya wanted the sacred power points of the community to lie within their living space, thereby integrating the inhabitants into a magical pattern set down by the shaman king and his associates. The ball court was a special place for the ritual enactments of the original ball game of the hero twins. Thus it brought the ancestors and their living descendants together at the place of the original sacrifice and resurrection of the maize god. Okay, let's just take a pause there. So, like I said, the objective of this research is to find the correlations between the Natarian traditions and the TameriKan traditions. Oh, we have a guest here, Robert Arnett. Good morning, girl. Upper Peninsula of Michigan here, Ojibwa Indian Reservation. Oh, well, it's great to make your acquaintance, Robert Arnett. I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about that. Let's take a pause. I'm living in Chicago, and we are working to protect something called Morgan Shoal, Pebble Beach. And I've been reaching out to tribal leaders in the area to see if someone can help me because we want to get the name changed to Michigami Shoal because I've learned that Michigami is the Ojibwe word for Lake Michigan. And there's some tribes that are signing our memorandum, but they're not Ojibwe tribes. So, Robert Arnett, I would really like to communicate with you. I'm going to put my email address here, and I hope that we can talk in the future. gmail.com. Okay, there we go. So, Robert Arnett, I really hope that we can talk because Hotepsut is here. Afternoon, 4 directions. Yay! Okay. All right. So, like I was saying about the hero twins, it reminds me of Heru, right? And then another reading I was reading from a few days ago or a few weeks ago, they were talking about the goddess that brought the maize god back to life. So it's kind of reversed. Hero twins, but in Kemet, it's the twin goddesses, Aset and Nebenhet. And then, of course, the maize god is a reference to Asar. Okay, so let me just keep going. I'm not going to read the whole book. I just want to read up to the picture. These early ball courts And they're talking about this illustration here again. And then also the constellation of Gemini in this around the sacred hoop. And by the way, Robert Arnett, my legacy or my heritage is Cherokee and Lakota from Mississippi. Some of the Lakota went down to Mississippi. They don't like to talk about us very much, but we did. Okay. These early ball courts in the Maya lowlands already exhibited the form that the ball court would have throughout its history. The playing field of the Maya ball game was shaped like a capital I. Players bounced the ball off angled benches on either side of the narrow central alley. The petroglyph for ball court. Here's the glyph for the ball court. Is this one right here. Petroglyph for ball court depicts the end-on view of these benches. At some sites, one or both ends of the I shape were enclosed, while at others they were entirely open. Round or square markers were erected in the center and at both ends of the central alley of most ball courts. Many had additional markers set into the top of the benches or in the upper panels. At Copan, these markers took the shape of macaw heads. At Tonina, they were captives, and in northern Yucatan, they were rings with entwined feathered serpents carved in sculptural relief. We are still not sure of the role these markers and benches played in the Maya formal ball courts, nor how the game was scored. Descriptions of the Aztec game, called the Tlacatli, however, bear resemblances to scenes of the Maya game that we find carved in relief sculptures on classic temples and monuments. Duran, the Spanish chronicler who recorded so much of Aztec life, describes the game as follows. And remember, the Aztecs came after the Maya, who came after the Olmec. Even here, maize is supposed to be from the Americas. Oh yeah, it's definitely from the Americas. It's not from Africa. Okay, so this is Duran's description of the Aztec game. It was a game of much recreation to them and enjoyment, especially for those who took it as pastime and entertainment, among which were some who played it with such dexterity and skill that they, during 1 hour, succeeded in not stopping the flight of the ball from one end to the other without missing a single hit with their buttocks, not being allowed to reach it with hands, nor feet, nor with the calf of their legs, nor with their arms. And at the ends of the court, they had a quantity of players on guard and to defend against the ball entering there, with the principal players in the middle to face the ball and the opponents. The game was played just as they fought, i.e., they battled in distinct units. In the center of this enclosure were placed 2 stones in the wall, one opposite the other. These 2 stones had a hole in the center, which was encircled by an idol representing the god of the game. That we may understand the purpose which these stones served, it should be known that the stone on one side served that those of one party could drive the ball through the hole which was in the stone, and the one on the other side served the other party, and either of these who first drove his ball through the hole in the stone won the prize. All those who entered this game played with leathers placed over their loincloths, and they always wore some trousers of deerskin to protect the thighs, which they all the time were scraping against the ground. They wore gloves in order to not hurt their hands, as they continuously were steadying and supporting themselves on the ground. They were so quick in that moment to hit with their knees or seats that they returned the ball with an extraordinary velocity. With these thrusts, they suffered great damage on the knees or on the thighs, with the result that those who for smartness often used them got their haunches so mangled that they had those places cut with a small knife and extracted blood which the blows of the ball had gathered. This says Duran, 1971. So, anyway, that's a little bit about the original basketball. It's an illustration of the I-shaped court. there. And yeah, it's fascinating the way that the game has developed. Yeah. Okay. It says it's a little bit more. Like the Aztec game witnessed by the Spanish, Maya imagery depicts players receiving the flying ball on their hips and sides. The rubber ball of the Maya, however, seems to have been considerably larger than the Aztec version. If its proportional relationship to human players was accurately represented in Maya art, it was larger than a basketball and did not go through a ring, except perhaps at Chichen Itza and other northern Yucatecan sites. All right. Well, there's a lot more description of the game there, but that's all we'll read today. So, yeah, I don't know the correspondence between the Balcourt game and the constellation, the Gemini constellation. I haven't found that yet. Chickamauga, Cherokee, Aztec, Chua. I don't know what that comment means, Robert Arnett, but I definitely have Cherokee. Definitely have Cherokee. Oh, here we go. Chica means turn in my vocabulary. Chica. Interesting. I know some people that say that when you find words in different languages that mean the same thing, it's just a coincidence. I don't agree with that. I think some of these words are really ancient and like the myth of Asar, his body was torn into pieces, and then Aset and Nebuchadnezzar and Anpu brought back together most of them. That's how I feel about our people and our culture, that it's just scattered all over the place. And now, we have the opportunity to put the pieces back together. I know whenever I talk about this or post about this, some people from Africa get really angry, and Native Americans get really angry, and that just means that we're on the right track. I don't know. But yeah, it's I'm really drawn to the cosmology. I feel if we focus on the cosmology, that's when we'll find the unity that we need to defeat this construct. The original football. Well, this is the original basketball. And football, the original football is actually soccer. Americans have football. That's what I understand. The original football was soccer. And this ball court is where we got the basketball from, because they use a rubber. But I'm not an expert on it. I don't know. So that's reading from the Maya Cosmos for today. Let's see. Then we have this wonderful book, Lakota Star Knowledge, which someone gifted me many moons ago. And these are all books that I've owned for decades, and I've never read them. And so I'm on here, I make this time, and I read them with you, because I don't make time to do it on my own for some reason. Okay. I think last time we stopped here, and so okay. This I left off on this page here. So that's showing Black Hills. The thing about the sacred hoop is it's reflected on the earth. Same with the Quechua in Peru. There's their sacred sites on the earth is reflected in the sky with the Milky Way and the ecliptic. So in the Lakota tradition, the Black Hills corresponds to the, sounds like rollerball. Yeah, because it says they don't use their hands. They're bumping it off their hips, and they try to keep it in the air as long as possible. That to me, that was we called it nukem. We played it over a volleyball net, and you would just bump the ball and not let it touch the ground. So yeah, it does sound like I don't know. It was their. It was part of their sacred rituals. I don't know what the real significance is of the game. It's certainly not reflected in basketball world of today. There's no spirituality in that other than worshiping the players. But I don't know. I want to find the cosmological correspondence. So I have to keep reading that chapter. Okay, so this one is the annual ceremonial journey can be stated succinctly as follows. During the 3-month period from spring equinox to summer solstice, the sun travels through 4 Lakota constellations. 3 of these stellar groups are connected by oral tradition to specific places in the Black Hills. By synchronizing their arrival at each of these 3 sites to the entrance of the sun into the corresponding constellations, the people were following the sun's path on Earth. So that's my objective. That's what I'm seeking to do, but not just in Chicago. I believe our ancestors traveled North, Central, and South America, like the way people go to Disneyland or the way you go visit your grandmother every year or whatever. I feel our ancestors made this journey, North, Central, and South America every year. Aren't those dream catchers? I bought one in a museum in Botswana. You are talking about dream catchers, I believe. A medicine wheel is, it's also round. This is a medicine wheel. A dream catcher is the one with like spider webs, and it's to catch your negative dreams or negative thoughts. So I don't think it's the same. The sacred hoop is a collection of constellations, and it's reflected on the earth. And the thing I just read explains why they make this journey around this area of the Black Hills and the Devil's Tower. So it's between South Dakota and Wyoming. I always thought it was just in South Dakota. I didn't know it was South Dakota and Wyoming. It's interesting. Appendix D contains a detailed account of the Lakota's journey. Oh my goodness. Okay. Furthermore, being at the right places at the right times and doing the appropriate ceremonies, the people hoped to receive spiritual power from the Wakan Wasti, the cosmic powers of good. So to the person that asked me, how do I feel this will activate us? This is exactly what I'm referring to. If we follow the journey, if we go to these mounds at the right time, then we will activate these cosmic powers of good that will enable us to defeat Western imperialism. That's my objective for doing this. So we got to go to the Serpent Mound for the summer solstice. Once we find out, what each one is lined up. I know a lot of them are lined up to the summer solstice, so we can't be at all of them at the summer solstice. But we find if we establish the right timing for us, like this one is just for the Lakota. We're not all Lakota, and we want to we want to activate this entire continent. So I want to quote unquote master or get my relation to the mounds of North America together. And then I will continue my journey to Mexico and South America, and just like a giant sacred hoop around the whole continent to activate, pull together the energy of all the sacred sites, not just these, or not just, we need to come together. That's my my passion. That's what's driving me right now, is to keep this going. So let's see what they say about this. Here's a chart. All right, so I'm just going to read the chart. So the first part, the first column is when the sun is in the Lakota constellation, the people will be at time and ceremony. So, like, I'm going to be at Cahokia for February 1st. Good rising, Christoph TV, OCO, Uben Nefer. So I'm planning to start with Cahokia because I live close to Cahokia, and it's going to be easier for me to get there. So eventually I'm going to have a chart like this for the whole thing. So we like travel, you know, because in the Quechua, do I have that book here? No, somebody stole my book. Like, most of my library was stolen when I moved back to Chicago. It's really painful. Oh, but I have a map of it in my book. Yeah, this book. The Quechua, no, I opened right to the page. It's so funny. It's upside down. Oh, it's backwards. Okay. So I know I'm going off top. I'm all over the place. But here is a map of the Quechua. And who are the Quechua? They were the Aboriginal Peruvians. The Incas came later, but they get credited. But it was the Quechua that were there first. All right. So their community is set up in this way. The cross represents where the Milky Way crosses the ecliptic. Like I talked to you before, the foliated cross from Mexico shows where at the winter solstice, where the ecliptic crosses the galactic plane. And I made a mistake last time. I was assuming the raising of the tree was in February 1st, but it was the winter solstice. So I'll do that ceremony next winter solstice. But their whole village, like this map up at this one, it shows where the ceremonies are. There's a different ceremony. Oh, this one, I'm sorry. It's upside down and backwards. This map shows the way the ceremonies are lined up, so that a different family hosts the ceremony around the central point of the cross. This one, okay? And so they travel around to honor the path of the sun as it crosses the Milky Way. And that's what I plan to do. I plan to come up with a schedule and when I'm supposed to be visiting these different sites. Let's see. Lagotia is a court in Cheswana. I'm Akaitika and I'm Skapi Pikanki, aka Shoshone and Blackfoot, not Blackfoot like those traders in Canada. Well, it's so great to meet you, Gustav TV. Yes, my Blackfeet is called Saponi, that ended up in Mississippi. And the indigenous word for Cherokee is Chalagi. So I'm Chalagi Saponi. So it's great to meet you. I was going to write Chuana, but I couldn't go to the old language. My five-time grandmother is Maheshu Wia, aka Sakajwe. Cool chick. Just a little comments on the YouTube channel. Okay, so anyway, my vision is that we'll know that for the summer solstice of this year, we're going to meet at the Serpent Mound, and the summer solstice, the next time we'll meet at this mound, and then at the fall equinox we'll go down to Teotihuacan, or we'll meet at the Olmec site in Veracruz. I have this travel guide I started in 2007, and I allowed somebody to scare me, and I didn't follow through on the work. But I'm not going to allow my fear to keep me from this work. So this is I'm all over the place. This is a travel guide from when I went to visit my first Olmec heads in San Andreas, Catemaco. And that's when I found Ichipantla. Okay, so Um, I'm just laughing because this is such a long time coming, and I guess I had to go through like all that adversity to get to this point where I'm strong enough to continue my research because I was really traumatized by the assault by the famous Black astrophysicist that was over how many years ago? 2000 and no, 19, no, when was that? I don't even remember. 1980 something. So it's taken me 40 years to get over that. But if that hadn't happened, I might have just stayed in the ivory tower and been blown up on a space shuttle, which was probably their original plan. I feel like they really don't want me to finish this research. Uh-oh, TikTok's about to say I have to switch over. But anyway, let's finish the Lakota chart and then we'll move on. Okay, we're going to finish the Lakota chart and move on. Well, thank you, Christoph TV. I look forward to meeting you. All these wonderful people that I'm meeting here. I'm definitely going to go to Ohio for the summer solstice for the Serpent Mound because I want to see that. And then I've heard that at the Serpent Mound, the caretakers of the land have allowed the trees to grow, so you can't even see the sunset. You can't see the serpent swallowing the sun because they've allowed the trees. That would be fun if we go and cut down the trees there so we can see it. That would be fun. That would be so funny. Yeah, that would be great. Okay, so let's see. So here is the schedule for the Lakota. So when the sun is in the Lakota constellation, Kansasa Ipusie or dried willow, the people will be at the winter camps in Nebraska and western South Dakota. The time and ceremony for the spring equinox is the pipe ceremony. When the sun is in the Lakota constellation, Wikshengala Sakowin, or the seven little girls, which has got to be the Pleiades, right? The people will be at Hinhan Kaga Paha Harney Peak, and the time and ceremony is welcoming back the Thunders, Yate Iwakisipi. When the sun is in the Lakota constellation, Ki Inyanka Okanka, the racetrack, or Kan Gleska Wakan, the sacred hoop, and Tayanmi, the people will be at Pe Sila, center of the Black Hills, and the time and ceremony is welcoming back all life in peace. Okisataya Wowa Wala. So spring equinox, welcoming back the thunders, which doesn't say if that's spring or winter, welcoming back all life in peace. And then lastly, when the sun is in the Lakota constellation, Mato Tipila, the Bear's Lodge, the people will be at Mato Tipila Paha, Devil's Tower, the time and ceremony, summer solstice, Sundance. Okay, so we're going to set up something similar to visit all the points on the Wheel of Life, the spiral dance, the solstices, the equinoxes, and the mid-seasons. Because if you look at Western space program is eerie. Yes, I was supposed to I would have been the first Black female astronaut if that guy hadn't slipped me a Mickey. But anyway, we visit these sacred sites and perform these rituals. Like right now, I've been doing the spiral dance medicine wheel ceremony at these times of the year in order that the indigenous people, the Aboriginal people of the Four Directions will wake up. Like someone was saying, what do I mean by wake up? They will cast off colonialism that's in we need to decolonize every aspect of our life, our spirituality, our diet, our holy days. These are the holy days. Oh, what I was going to say is Western imperialism. If you check their calendar for their holy days, it's all, oh, thank you for the gift. They're always in alignment with the nature holy days. And I know I'm repeating myself. We've talked about this before. Let's start with the winter solstice, right? Which is the shortest night, the shortest day of the year, the longest night. Solstice means sun stops. It means it stops its rotation from our perspective, and it appears to rise in the same place for 3 days, right? And so that when they created the religion of Christianity, they changed sun, sun, to son, and it's the rebirth of the sun because the days get longer. But they call it the birth of the sun, son, and turned it into this big commercial holiday, which is based on satanic rituals. Okay, I'm not going to go into that, but do your research. You'll find it. It's the truth. So they timed their big holy day to be 3 days after the winter solstice. When they started the religion at, I get the century wrong, was it 354 or 454 AD? They went around to the pagan communities, the indigenous European communities, and said, join our religion or we'll kill you. Basically, that's what they did. And they said, come on, it won't be so bad. You can still have your same rituals. It's just going to be, just put this guy's name, JC, in there. And it'll basically be the same. It won't really change, but you have to give us your money and do what we say, et cetera, et cetera. So some people said, no way. So they got killed at the Nicene Council, and they went to the village of the priests and priestesses and wiped them out. They only allowed the people that accepted it to continue. All right. Then let's look at their New Year's Day. We talked about that already. How can you have a new year starting in wintertime? That's not when anything begins other than the sun starting its journey back. And you already had that with the solstice. So how did they choose January 1st? Well, in the Natarian tradition, that is a very sacred night, December 31st, because that's when the star Sirius culminates at midnight. So we already had a big celebration. So they just co-opted it and said, "Oh, it's the new year." Well, it's a new cycle. It's a marker on the Sirius calendar, but it's not a new year. I mean, the new year is when Sirius comes back because it goes away for 3 months. But then let's go to the next one they have is Easter, right? And Passover. Those holy days are set up for, the first full moon after the equinox. And then Easter is the first Sunday at the first full moon after the equinox. So that they're just co-opting the energy of the equinox and turning it into when they're because we used to celebrate Passover. I raised my children as Black Hebrew Israelites, and we had the whole thing. We did the whole dinner, everything. And they always said, next year we'll be free. And I'm like, what? They've been saying they'll be free for how many years now? They're still not free? It's a big mess. But that's when the life begins in the spring equinox. And Easter, Eostar, they say that's when their archetype was reborn into eternity, which is what happened to Asar. I mean, that nothing is original about these traditions. Okay, let's go to the 4th of July, right? That is a certain number of days after the summer solstice. I mean, what about Halloween? That's the middle of fall. Like nothing they come up with is original. So that's what I mean by waking up beyond the illusion, beyond the constructs of Western imperialism, reclaiming our traditions that they took from us. They took from our ancestors, but they're still in us. They're in our DNA. They're in our blood. It's who we are. So that's why I would like to have, meet up with people at these sacred sites on these sacred dates and have ceremonies for the goodness. Valentine's Day. Okay, let's see. Valentine's Day is 2 weeks after the middle of winter. It's always in alignment with something. If you just look, you'll find it. And I don't know that whole. Oh, and then April Fool's Day, April 1st, right? April 1st was when in Europe, before the church was killing everybody that didn't agree with them. That's when they celebrated New Year's Day because it was 10 days after the equinox. And that's when they celebrated New Year's Day. And so when the church came in and said they were changing the date of New Year's Day to January 1st, anybody that still celebrated the New Year on April 1st was considered a fool. And that's when they would put signs on their backs like April Fool, all these things, because they still practiced the natural holy day. So that's my speech about getting back to natural time and following the seasons and the mid-seasons with your own rituals. There's, you could look up how people celebrate it, or you can come up with your own. It's usually just making offerings of fire, light a fire, big fire pit, bonfire, air. We have sage, we have Palo Santo. You could burn anything, incense. You make offerings of tobacco, water. You make an offering for the water. You a blessing from the water, and then you have food offerings, live food offerings, and then you sing and chant and dance and pray and set your intentions. You do ceremonies to let go of what no longer serves you, opening the way for goodness to come. I really like this. Furthermore, being at the right places at the right times and doing the appropriate ceremonies, the people hope to receive spiritual power from the Wakan Waste, the cosmic powers of good. Now, that's cosmic forces of nature, the Neteru. They're actually talking about the Neteru. And that's basically what it is. And that's what we need to do for our people. Not the Lakota, these Native American tribes, they don't recognize us. They don't welcome us. They tell us that we're just a mix of Black and Native people. And we know it's not true. That's not true. We are Aboriginal Americans. And we need to reclaim that. We have to stop claiming Black. We have to stop claiming Afro-American. We have to stop supporting their government. To stop supporting their government. I'm not saying like anarchy, like run on the white. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying decolonize your life and reclaim what was wrongfully taken from each and every one of us. Got to live like our ancestors in a modern environment. Exactly. Chief Babwe. I don't know how to pronounce that. Babwe. Yes. Live like our ancestors in a modern environment. That's exactly what I am proposing. Thank you very much for stating it so clearly and succinctly. One thing I love about detox, detach, deprogram. Exactly. Yes, that is exactly what we need to do. And as Aboriginal Americans, I don't know your lineage or whatever, but for me, it means stop looking to Africa as the homeland, as the motherland. Different. I've been watching a few people online. I haven't done the research myself, but they make statements like most of the foods come from here. One guy said that we have like 3,000 rivers compared to like 60 main rivers in Africa. I don't know if this is true. On the video that I talked about, Ancient Apocalypse, the Americas, they're saying that the Amazon was planted by our ancestors. It didn't just spring up. It was planted. Like they talked about how for ayahuasca, the two main ingredients, if you try them individually, nothing happens. But when you take them together, you go on a spiritual journey. And how they Choctaw Mississippian. Okay. Cherokee and Lakota Saponi, the ones that went to Mississippi. Cherokee, some on the Trail of Tears, of course. We ended up in New Orleans, Texas, and eventually Chicago. Some went through Ohio, and some went to Kansas City, Kansas, and St. Louis, and Missouri. So we were like just always on the move. Oh gosh, whenever I do that, I lose my train of thought. Okay, well, it's gone now. I was talking about these sacred sites though, and like we were talking about detach, detox, deprogram, decolonize. So if we can, like, imagine if some of us are actually able to meet up at these mounds together and offer these ceremonies for the indigenous people of the Four Direction, the Aboriginal people, to rise up and take back what was taken from us. Oh, here we go. Learn to be your own executive, judiciary, and legislature. Okay, so what you're talking about there, to me, that is Ma'at. I believe that at one time, everybody knew about Ma'at. It wasn't just a few of us on here talking about Ma'at. That was like in our hearts, and you would never go against it. You just wouldn't exactly govern ourselves. You would never go against Ma'at. You would never do anything against Ma'at. It just is unthinkable. Like, our ancestors would never pour petroleum products or sewage into the water. You just wouldn't do that. You wouldn't, like, that's why I understand the sacrifice, because you wouldn't kill anyone. You would never kill an animal. You just wouldn't do that. Not because somebody told you not to do it, because it's in your heart. Ma'at is in our hearts. It's in our minds. Ma'at was the first thing created. Even before the sun, Ma'at is a principle. It's not a goddess or a god. Ma'a or Ma'at with the T is a god. It's a principle of balance, truth, order, harmony, justice, righteousness, reciprocity. You just wouldn't do that. Right. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. Exactly. So that's another one of my goals, is to, bring back Ma'at. I mean, my birth name, which I translated into Hebrew, Stacy Allison, means rise again truth. I didn't even know that until after my second child was 5 years old. That's when I was like, well, what does my name mean? I don't really like being called Stacy. It's like, because people called me Spacey Stacy, and then I ended up wanting to be an astronaut. I don't know, but I'm into the stars. But I hated being called Stacy because it was Greek. I was like, I don't even have any Greek ancestors. It'd be different if the European in me was Greek, but it's not even Greek. So why was I named after a Greek person? So I researched what my name meant, and then I translated it into Hebrew, and that's where we get Tachia Ahmet, although it's actually in Hebrew, Tachia. But I didn't know that at the time. So I told everyone my new name was Tachia. And then later I found out there was a Cherokee warrior named Tachi. So it just stuck. But, my name means rise again truth. And I didn't even know that until I already had 2 children. And then that's when I started to learn about Ma'at. I didn't grow up in these traditions. It's just, I was seeking the truth. And so when I got to Kemet, that's when everything clicked. I learned about my ego. I learned about egoism in others. And I just really learned how to move in that way. Is Ma'at equivalent to Lucifer? Lucifer is a feminine energy deity, the first dark light wanting humanity to advance in accordance with universal law. No, I don't believe that Ma'at is equivalent to Lucifer. Ma'at is. That's all. It is. It is justice, truth, order, harmony, righteousness, reciprocity. Ma'at doesn't want anything. Ma'at exists. We see her as feminine, but then there's also Ma'at when you add the T. Like in the Terran tradition, anytime there's a feminine principle, there's a masculine principle. It's not one or the other. It's both. Ma'at is not equivalent to anything. Other things might reflect Ma'at. Is Ma'at equivalent to the idea of God? No, Ma'at is not equivalent to the idea of God. Ma'at is a cosmic force of creation. Nebuchadnezzar is the all-encompassing, all-embracing spirit that thought creation into existence. And Ma'at is like, I visualize Nebuchadnezzar as a ball of light, and then there's different rays of light, and Ma'at is one of the rays of light. Does Ma'at predate the idea of God? Ma'at is a god or goddess, or cosmic force of nature. So Nebuchadnezzar is the is what existed before creation. It existed before creation, and then it thought creation. And ironically, thought is a Greek term for Jehuti, which is divine intelligence. Khepri is the one that Nebuchadnezzar manifested as Khepri, and Khepri created everything. And Ma'at was the first thing that was created by Khepri. First Ma'at, then Jehuti, then Heteru. Jehuti is the cosmic force of intelligence and divine intelligence, and Heteru is the cosmic force of beauty and is connected to the life force energy that travels up and down everything it lives. Do I believe chaos predates creation? Let's see. Well, no, I do not believe chaos predates creation. Creation is a duality, and reality is unity, oneness. So chaos is the opposite of order. Chaos is the enemy of let's see. Chaos is considered a fetter of set. Fetter of set are different aspects of egoism. So in the Tarian tradition, you have the oneness, and then you have creation, which created duality. So we live in a duality, like there's time and there's space, but in reality, there is no time and space. So chaos exists in creation, but in reality, there is no chaos. In reality, there is no duality. There's no love, there's no hate, there's no peace, there's no war, there's no black, there's no white. There just is consciousness. So chaos is an effect of creation, and our goal is to defeat chaos. The name for chaos is a fetter of Set. Set is the cosmic force of egoism, force of the ego. Is isness chaos? There is chaos in creation, if that's what you're asking. Is isness chaos? There is chaos in creation, and there's also order in creation. And so in with Ma'at, okay, so Ma'at is like O before O2. Ma'at is, and you either have Ma'at or you have a lot of Ma'at, or you have very little Ma'at. But there's no such thing as no Ma'at, because Ma'at is always in creation. It's everything. Everything has Ma'at. Like what is the Kabbalion principle about opposites? Alike in nature, but different in degree. Like water, you have water, right? And my daughter told me you can't say water is wet. Water is water. So you either have a lot of water, moisture, or you have a lack of water, which is like dryness or desert. They're the opposite, but they're both extremes of, let's say, moisture. You have moisture where it's very wet, or dryness in the desert where it's very dry. But even the dryness is an aspect of water, of moisture. It's just a lack of it. But it doesn't mean there is none. There's none. It's just hardly any. Or I guess you could say there's none, but to all practical reality, but it's still a degree of moisture. I hope that made sense for you. Like there's one image I like where there's the cat goddess Bast or Bastet, where she's defeating chaos by cutting off the head of the snake, of the serpent, which represents a fetter of Set or egoism. Egoism is the true evil. Like even Satan, the name Satan comes from Set. In the Terran tradition, there is no devil. There's only egoism. There's no hell. There's only creation and after creation. And if you're in hell, that's because you're following your ego. You're not following Ma'at. So I hope that helps. Oh, you said 100%. On Thursdays, we have a whole discussion on the Natarian traditions, and we even have a offering. On Tuesdays, we're focusing on the TameriKan cosmology. Now, the reason we say Tameri, that's a Natarian term. It means beloved land. So Kemet is the black lands over there in what we know of as Egypt, and Tameri is the beloved land. They always talk about the beautiful West. They're talking about here, where we are. When you read When Rocks Cry Out, Horace Butler, which is another form of Heru, has all these maps, and he just breaks it all down. Like Jerusalem is Jerusalem, Peru is Heru. When I was in Brazil, I wanted to travel to Sergipe, which is at one point all of Brazil was called Sergipe, which sounds like southern Egypt. So is believing one is actually an individual a sin? Well, we do have individual personalities based on our REU, right? So I don't think that believing one is an individual is a sin like that, because we do have individuality, like each god and goddess is individually is distinct, unique. So we're unique because of our past life. Like even twins, right? Identical twins, they don't have the same REU. What's REU? REU are impressions on your soul from all of your past existences, all your thoughts, your words, your actions, your beliefs, everything. It's not just your action, it's what you think catches up to you, and it's stored in your heart. And so I don't think that believing one is an individual is a sin, because we all have a unique past. And even if you have the same mom and dad, everything, your soul is distinct. Like you may not have even known your twin in a past life, but you do now, So I think what the sin is believing that one is superior to another, or believing that one can exist without these natural principles, or without the divine. To believe that your whole world, your whole life is based on materialism and not spirituality. The only sin, the only evil is to be ignorant of the divine. That is the sin. That is where you will really mess up. When you are ignorant of the divine, that is pure ego. When you think that you're the reason why you have this great life, you're the reason why you have the car, you're the reason why you are getting paid, you believe you're the reason why all these things are happening to you, and ignoring the fact that you are divine. And we're just expressing, like, the reason we exist is because Nebuchadnezzar wanted to see what it was like to experience creation. Nebuchadnezzar is the oneness that existed before creation, which some would say nothingness, but it just is. And so just wanted to know what it would be like to be a tree, or to be an apple, or to be a car, or to be a river, or to be a TameriKan. It's like we're expressing the divine that was placed in us. It's not coming from us, it's coming through us. Okay, Chief, are we all just playing out different energy signatures of women and men that lived before us and resonate most with our ego? What are we entirely the reason why of? Are we all just playing out different? Yes, I believe that we are all just playing out different energy signatures or vibrations of men and women that lived before us and resonate most with our ego. Well, not of men and women that lived before us, but us in past lives. Like all of that REU is contained in you, in your heart, in your your, like you say, energy signature. And so when you're born, it's because you have lessons to learn and you need to clean up your REU so that you don't have to reincarnate. That's the whole purpose of life, according to Natarian Kemetic spirituality. To live in such a way that you don't have to come back. To live in such a way that everything is in alignment with Ma'at, and that when we do good and help others, share and we love others, and just everything is benevolent and, like you said, beneficent. When everything we do is for Ma'at, then we clean up our RU, right? We change our mindset, we decolonize, we detach, detox, all that. Then we don't have to reincarnate. We don't have to come back and take this class, because Earth is a universal school, and we're supposed to learn lessons. Hey, there's RP, Renatrice. And so if we're not learning our lessons, then we're going to have to keep coming back. People who are ignorant of the divine and think it's okay to kill, they're going to have to keep coming back. And so eternity, like everyone wants to be in heaven and all this, all that is on hold until every single human being or reptilian or whatever these things are that are coming through cleans up their REU, treats everyone good. What does it say? Aligned with the cosmic powers of good. We just have to keep doing this. And it's getting worse and worse every time, right? Because now, we have all this pollution and the trafficking and all these things. Oh, he's had so many good questions. Wouldn't you say we created ourselves and are remembering we did so throughout life, and we are God, but need to be humble to the fact and utilize our gifts, astrological placements, to help others, ourselves, humanity? I would resonate with that. I wouldn't say that. Okay, if you're saying that you are Nebuchadnezzar, but I did not create my soul. I do not know how to create a soul. I do not know how to create spirit. I do not know how to create water. I know how to create fire. I do not know how to make the wind blow. I do not know how to make beautiful crystals and gems. I do not know how to make a baby. I know how to get pregnant and give birth to a baby. So that right there is a little challenging. However, we are able to manifest, things that we think about. But where do the thoughts come from? In this tradition, the thoughts come from Jehuti, the cosmic mind of creation, right? So there's the cosmic mind, there's our unlimited mind, and then our limited mind exists in our brain. And some people don't get past the limited mind in the brain, okay? So we have to do things to open up to the unlimited mind so that the cosmic mind can fill our unlimited mind. And then we can do what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to live out our lives according to the divine plan. Like, okay, so we are gods and goddesses because we can manifest things and we can change our vibrations by changing our thoughts. We do have these powers that most people aren't familiar with because we have such a terrible diet, or we're so enmeshed in Western imperialism and Caucasity. But once you break free of those things, then you have these powers. Some people would say magic. I mean, yeah, I've had some magical things happen to me that I can't really explain other than the fact that I was chanting or singing or fasting or taking substances that open you up to the higher realms. But I didn't create those. I didn't create those at all. I won't never, unless I'm saying I am Nebuchadnezzar, and you can say that. You can identify so strongly with Nebuchadnezzar, but then you're still here in a human body. So you can't really, you can access Nebuchadnezzar inside of your soul and your spirit. You can do that. You definitely can. But you have to be really careful about making statements like when I say Nukpu Heru, I am Heru, that's because Heru is inside of me. It's a cosmic force of creation. It's a cosmic force of nature that lives in all of us. And so when we make offerings to these cosmic forces, we're wanting to get closer to them so we can activate them and then utilize them. Yes, I do. I do utilize medicinal plants, all kinds, roots, fungus, leaves, flowers. Yeah, definitely. Not every day, but I do. So, you asking such good questions today. All right. Well, it is the 1.5 hour mark. And so at this point of the program, I am going to start the Akusanev Reflective Movement Meditation Yoga System that's based on Tefnet Terusima Pout from Dr. Mwada Ashby at EgyptianYoga.com. It is a level 2 yoga session, yoga class. And the second half of these programs with me on Tuesday, Wednesday, the first half is just me rambling or communicating with people, answering questions. And I had a lot of fun today. And then the second half is a offering. It's a devotional offering. And so I'm just asking for donations for Cosmology Temple. You can leave TikTok, you leave coins. And those are wonderful to receive. However, I need a donation to Cosmology Temple. You can use Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal. And then you will make it possible for everyone to have the class. And if no one is able to make a donation, then we won't have the offering that day. I've been giving away music and sound healing and all kind of content at no charge since my first website in 1999, 2000. And now I'm actually asking for contributions. So I can tell you a little bit more about the yoga system. I didn't finish this page, but we got the gist, and I will work on it next time. Yeah, so we're talking about some of the cosmic forces of nature. Let me get some more hot water. Cosmic forces of nature, of creation. And Dr. Ashby has developed, is this cold now? It's cold. He's developed a yoga system. Maybe a part of you is ancestral memory, the original you. Yes, definitely. All of us have ancestral memory. We have our ancestral memory, we have past life memory. Yeah. So the cosmic forces of nature are, like we talked about, forces set in motion by Khepri to manifest this creation of Nebuchadnezzar. And we have the same capability to manifest our lifestyle, our reality through mastering these cosmic forces of nature. We were never intended to just worship them and make offerings forever. We're supposed to become them. We're supposed to become a god or goddess, a cosmic force of nature in our own way. We won't be like Ma'at or Heru or Aset, because they are the foundational forces of nature, like the original, like the actual ones that make up creation. We are emanations of creation or tools of creation to do so. Like I see myself as a cosmic force of sound and music. And I'm here to share wisdom teachings through music and share sounds that will activate these forces within us. And like you say, to get in touch with your ancestral memory or your memory. You are force that is from Africa. Well, thank you so much, Christopher. The whole point of this, however, is to acknowledge that the majority of us here living in United States of America did not come over on slave ships. We were already here. I do know of one ancestor that came from Africa and two that are European, a slave owner, and I don't know what the other one was here for, but all my other ancestors are either Cherokee or Lakota. So I don't believe that I am a force that is from Africa. I have African in me, No super chat. What is super chat? I don't know what super chat is. You have to tell me what that is. So I appreciate you for acknowledging that. I see. This is somebody who doesn't believe in my ancestry. Well, you know what? No, I'm not Native. There's evidence that shows that the Native Americans were brought over here and just took credit for everything that they found. So no, I'm not Native. I'm Aboriginal American. Thank you very much. Trying to donate on YouTube. Yes, trying to donate on YouTube. I don't know. I don't know about that. They won't let me take donations because they won't let me do subscriptions because I don't have enough views. I have enough subscribers, but I don't have enough views. So I'm not able to do subscriptions, which is why I just gave up on that. And right now I'm just asking for donations. So Chief Babawa, I don't know how to pronounce this. I'm butchering it. Baubawwe. I don't look African at all. I look like the mama bear lady on YouTube video that has been circulating. Thank you very much. Yeah, I have extremely high cheekbones, which is a Cherokee trait. And I have bags under my eyes, which is a Lakota trait. So I've had that pointed out to me many times. So back to the yoga system. So why am I doing this yoga practice? Well, because a few years ago when I was really in deep with a narcissist domestic violence situation, and I was really going through a lot, I did ingest some medicinal plants, and it was revealed to me this meditation. Well, I had the green flash sunrise. I have a couple of videos about that. I experienced that. And then they revealed to me this meditation technique based on the the ideal solids, and that it's a way to manifest by using the cosmic forces of nature, their chants, their songs, their tones, and visualizing and putting it all together. And I finished my book. I'm talking to different people about self-publishing it and everything. I have posted a few videos about it. You can find it. And the yoga practice is not about moving into poses. So far, no one has been able to make a contribution. So we're probably going to be wrapping up soon. What's it called, the book? Oh, I haven't been published yet. It's called Hesiu Netru, Vibrations of the Cosmic Forces of Nature. And so the yoga system, though, which is I'm calling Aku Seneb, it's different from Dr. Ashby's. It's got my own tweak. So it's Aku Seneb. So it's not postures, but you're you are. Okay, so Dr. Ashby, when he traveled in Kemet, he found different glyphs or images that looked like yoga postures. So he put them all together in a form, in a sequence, where you are recreating the process of creation that Khepri did, that he was ordered to do by Nebuchadnezzar. And so when I was doing these two things consistently every day for like 2 years, it really brought me out of that funk. It just brought me out of it completely. And then I was just doing it on my own. Then I moved back here where, things have been difficult to keep it up. And someone suggested I start teaching, and they could get me a gig at a yoga studio. So that propelled me to write my little book on the yoga postures and start trying to go online. I thought I could do it easily with subscription, but my sister Nitra pointed out that you only get $1 per subscriber because TikTok takes out some. And so I'm looking for other ways. But in the meantime, I'm just asking if one person makes a donation of $5, $10, $15, then everyone can have the class online. So, but no one has. So I'll wait another 5 or 10 minutes and then I'll just move on. Yeah, a lot of people have said that I look like Bob Marley. I'm a reggae singer. I have locks, so people just might say that. I don't know, but anyway, this yoga practice has really changed my life. I have been manifesting things. I'm not, the things that I really need to manifest though are escaping me. And that really brings me down because I don't know why. They say, because it's just not the right time. And so, but if I do try to do something else to generate revenue, then I won't be able to do the things that I'm doing. So that is my predicament. I've been told that I'm spiritual. I'm not. Money's not my thing. One guy said I'm allergic to money. People say my life is sustained and provided for by the self, by the source, which I agree. I have everything that I need, which is true. However, in order to play these games, you still, you need money for bills and utilities and things like that. And it's really hard for me to, to ask for these things. But, and I sell things, I make wonderful things that are useful and could be, purchased. But I think my weakness is not knowing how to sell and not knowing about business, having a business. So that is where I am. I do have this 508 status, but you still have to learn how to sell things. So I started putting myself through, I call it cellular evolution, where I'm learning how to sell at the cellular level, but I haven't, it's starting to pick up anyway. You didn't ask for that information. So I'm going to ask again, is there anyone on this program? I have a few people still on the TikTok. I have people on YouTube. If anyone is interested in these Akusineb sessions, I'm willing to do it publicly if just one person can make a contribution to Osmadish Temple. We do have them in person on Fridays from 3 to 5 p.m. Well, 3 to 6 p.m. because, we don't always start right on time. On Fridays from 3 until 6, if you want to try it in person, that'd be great for donation. Otherwise, I don't know how it will be brought forth online, but I'm willing to do it. So, okay, well, going once, going twice, going 3 times. Okay, so not today. I'll be back tomorrow for Wellness Wednesday, and we talk about astrology on Wellness Wednesday, healing, herbs, just, whatever topics come up. And because of the alignment that's coming up, well, I guess today's the first day where there's going to be 6 planets in alignment. You can see them all in one night. And then on the 25th, I think Mercury joins, so there'll be 7. So I'm planning to do a live stream for that probably tomorrow. And then again on the 25th when Mercury joins us. And then on Thursdays, on Wednesdays, we have a discussion. And then I ask again if someone will make a donation, then I'll do the Cosmic Chimes and Chanting session. Because of the nature of tomorrow's event, I will probably do it anyway. I'm such a softie. Do I have my links? You mean for my website? Sure, I can do that. lightbeingwellness.com is my main website, which was down for about a month because we learned that someone had hooked it up to, Sacred Shaman. Let's see what she wants. Hooked it up to Pography sites. I had 4,000 backlinks, 51,000 files. Half of them said silence is golden, and then 10,000 photographs. So it was down for a while, but it's back up. I don't know who did that. It might have been the guy that slipped me that Mickey. And then what can I give free astronomy? Can I give free consultations? Well, Chief, I can, but like you said, just because you can doesn't mean that you should. I do have where you can make a payment. I can do your chart. I can do an energy wellness reading with the pendulum. I can do a lot of things. I'm just not really able to do it for free. Like we're talking about Ma'at. There has to be some sort of reciprocity with all this. Like I said, I've been studying these things for 40 years now. And I see lots of people getting paid for doing the same things that I'm doing. No, can I do one for you? I do astronumerology. Uh, can you give me a free? Sure. Yeah, I would accept. I would accept. I would consider that a donation to Cosmology Temple. It's hard for me. I love to do things for free, but I just can't. I just cannot. You would be shocked if you saw how I'm living. I'm living in this apartment building that I inherited from my mom, who inherited from her mom. So 4 generations of my bloodline have lived here. A My grandfather's mom on my mother's side has visited here. So 5 generations have been in this building, and it needs a lot of work, like $100,000 worth of work. I don't have real heat. I have propane heaters. I only have one sink with running water. I can't afford to run the boiler because it's $3,000 a month to heat up the whole building. I'm only living in 2 apartments. And something has got to change. I don't know exactly what that is, but something has got to change for me and this work. So that's why when you said, can I give you a free consultation? I said, I can't. I can, but I'm not supposed to. But I will definitely accept one as a contribution. Yeah. Definitely can do that. Let's see what other links. I have a link tree. Let's see if I can even remember. That has like all my links. Let's see if I can find that. Today, here we go. Wait, is that? No, that's not. Here we go. Okay, copy link address. Okay, so here's my link tree. Yes, if I think about it, aren't I living like my ancestors minus being outside? Definitely. I definitely feel like I'm living in a third world, quote unquote, third world scenario. And I acknowledge that. I do. And I thank you for reminding me of that. It is a blessing to have this space. I would like to have it renovated and serve as a wellness center for the community. And I rented out, like an artist, I rented out to people to make movies. They like the dilapidated look, and they're willing to make movies in the cold. And also a safe space for women who are escaping domestic violence. Those are my plans for the building. I'd like to have it set up so that I don't have to be here all the time, because I definitely want to start traveling again soon. So. All right. Well, I appreciate you all. Do I have a working fireplace? I have 6 fireplaces. However, they have not been used in at least 60 years. They have not been used in 65 years. So I checked, and to have someone come and, clean out the chimney sweeps and make sure it's working, that would be $400 for a fireplace. So that's $2,400. So when I am funded, I will definitely start using the fireplaces again. But right now, I don't feel good about just turning it on. But I definitely could go outside and get some firewood and turn them on. But maybe I'm too westernized, and I would like to have someone inspect it before I turn it on. And so, yeah. But yeah, several people have asked me about that. So maybe I should just, I asked if they could just do one fireplace. And they said, no, they'd have to do the whole thing. So, but that is on my mind. At least I got Wi-Fi. Yes, I do have Wi-Fi. I have Wi-Fi. I have a running sink. I have electricity. I have a stove. I have a refrigerator. And I have my e-bike, because I don't have a car. I ride my bike in the cold weather. I get in Lake Michigan. I jump in the water when it's very cold. I have some friends that I draw the line at like 50 degrees outside, maybe 40, but below 40, you're not going to catch me in that water. But they get in. They get in. So, have I ever been married? I have been married. I was married for 22 years. No, sorry, not 22 years. 19.5 years to a wonderful, let's see, what is his heritage? Cherokee, Mayan, Moroccan, and then his European was Spanish and possibly Polish or Italian. But yes, we were together 19.5 years, and he left me because of my PTSD from the trauma in my past. So, Constance Woo Woo says she rode her bike year round when she lived in Chicago. Constance, I'm going to have to meet you someday because we have so much in common. We have a lot in common. All right, then. Constance is someone who has made donations to the temple so that the offerings could be made. So I don't like to have just one person do it all the time. Okay, so for those of you who are just tuning in, you can find the replay on my music YouTube channel. I'm getting ready to sign off. Maybe you could judge by the smoke. Maybe I could judge by the smoke. I'm still going to wait until I have someone out here who can let me know what's going on. But yes, it is on my mind. I think the priority for me, though, is getting my paperwork in order. Oh, Chief lives not too far from Chicago in Rockford. Oh, when I was a young girl, I was a figure skater, and I have been to Rockford. We did a skating camp, wagon wheel ice skating camp. So maybe I met you while I was there. I have a lot of building skills I'm sure you could use at the temple. Yes, actually, I've been in communication with someone who is very connected to the Lakota and Seminole Nation. And she is telling me that she wants to bring some of her family from Lakota, the Thunderbirds, to Chicago. And she wants them to stay here at the Wellness Center, at the temple. And that she's going to get funding for the renovation so they can stay here. I'm meeting with her in a little while. Oh, okay. Yeah, you weren't at the ice skating camp. Yes, this was back in 1970. 1970s. No one at my grand's place. Yeah, no, it's a safe. I want it to be a safe space. So they'll only be staying here for a few months. They have ceremonies, the summer solstice back at the Lakota, probably for the oh gosh, what is it? I can't even remember the name of it. The one where the Sundance, yeah. So they're gonna come here and then go back there. So I'm meeting with her today. Yes, in fact, I'm working with someone right now that wants to have a ceremony. It won't be here at the spring equinox. I'll be doing sound healing at the ceremony for them. Yep. Okay, well, I'm going to still go do my yoga before I have the meeting, at least a little bit of it. So I appreciate all of you. I've had a wonderful time with all the questions and meeting new people. You're going to have to tell me how to pronounce your name. Let's see if I can. Wish it would let me join you right from here, but it won't. So I have a lot more to learn about going live and donations. Yeah. Let's see. Maybe I got one and I didn't notice. It would have shown up. Just one. Let's see. Nope. None have come through. So, all righty then. Well, found your channel and this was cool. I will be here. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, so like I said, I'll be back here tomorrow. Well, tomorrow I'm on the Kimatones Sound Healing channel. And then Thursday I'll be back here on the music channel. But tomorrow I'll be here tomorrow for the planetary alignment broadcast, talking about frequencies. And then Thursday for the Natarian devotion conversation like this. And then if someone makes a donation to Cosmology Temple, we'll have a live offering, which is devotional music, meditation, reading from the teachings, things like that. The last thing I'm going to say is I know a lot of people were confused because they thought I was a Kemetic priestess for several years. And all of a sudden, I started talking about TameriKan and my Aboriginal heritage. And I just wanted to say that it's the same practice, just in a different location. I haven't like flipped the script or anything. This is actually, who I really am. I was never trying to be Egyptian or anything. Some people thought I was trying to be Egyptian. It's like, no, it's a spiritual tradition that existed all over the world. And we're just coming back into it here on Turtle Island and TameriKan. So, well, thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Yes, I don't know how to invite people on here. Participants. I'm going to have to find out how to invite guests on here. Engage with your audience. Start a Q&A, start a poll. Yeah, I don't really know all those things. But I'm enjoying my time here. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and close it out and then do some yoga and then get ready to meet with these people that say they can fund the renovation if I'm willing to house some of the Thunderbirds from the Lakota Nation here. Like, why wouldn't I? I've been to Standing Rock 2 times. Once during the protest, I did sound healing. And then I went back and did a reggae performance at a concert there, festival there. Okay, Dua Hatep, thank you so much. Yes, I'm going to have a great day, and I will see you again very soon. Peace.